Now, I wanna tell you about tips and tricks in reading section. The first point, things to know about the TOEFL reading section. Number 1, there are 55 questions to be answered in 55 minutes. This section requires participants to answer an average of 1 question per minute. This means it's crucial to be efficient in reading and answering questions. Number 2, it usually consists of 5 texts. Each text is typically taken from academic material and can cover various fields such as history, science, art, and others. Familiarizing yourself with a range of academic topics can help with the preparation. Number 3, each text consists of 200 until 450 words with 7 until 12 questions. The length of the text varies, but it usually covers 200 to 450 words. Each text has different types of questions, ranging from detail-oriented to vocabulary and inference questions. The second point is things to pay attention to in order to get a high score. Number 1, vocabulary knowledge. A strong vocabulary is key to answering the questions well. The TOEFL test often evaluates your understanding of synonyms, antonyms, and the meaning of words in specific contexts. Number 2, knowledge of the types of questions and how to answer them. There are several types of questions in TOEFL reading, such as main idea, detail, inference, and vocabulary meaning. By understanding these question types, you can develop more effective strategies for answering. Number 3, time management. With limited time, it's essential to manage your time well. One way to do this is to avoid spending too much time on one question and ensuring you have enough time for all questions. Number 4, concentrate while reading. Strong focus while reading the text helps you quickly grasp its content. Avoid distractions and make sure you read attentively. The last point is about the main idea. Number 1, usually found at the beginning of a paragraph. In most texts, the main idea can be found in the first or second sentence of the first paragraph. Number 2, not too general but not too specific either. The main idea should not be too broad to cause confusion, nor too narrow to exclude important parts of the text. Number 3, must be able to represent the entire text. The main idea is the core of what the text aims to convey as a whole. Make sure that this idea encompasses all the key parts of the text without exception. Well, by understanding the above points and practicing regularly, you will be better prepared for the reading section of the TOEFL.
Okay, next, factual question. Factual question ask about explicit facts and details given in the passage. They often contain one of the WH question words, namely who, what, well, where, why, and how much. For example, the Amazon rainforest is the largest tropical rainforest in the world, covering over 5.5 million square kilometers. It is home to an incredible diverse range of species, including 40,000 plant species, 1,300 bird species, 430 mammal species, and 2.5 million insect species. The Amazon is sometimes referred to as the lungs of the planet because it produces 20% of the world's oxygen. The rainforests play a key role in regulating the Earth's climate and house many indigenous tribes that rely on its research for survival. However, deforestation, driven by agriculture and logging, poses a significant threat to the Amazon future. The question, according to the passage, what percentage of the world oxygen is produced by the Amazon rainforest? A. 10%, B. 15%, C. 20% and D. 25%.
Okay, next point is negative question. In this case, you must determine which of the four choices is not given in the passage. This question contains the words not, except, or less, which are always capitalized. For example, kangaroos native to Australia are known for their strong hind legs, tail-probing length, and ability to jump up to 9 meters. There are herbivores that primarily eat grass and live in groups called mobs. Kangaroos are well adapted to dry environments and can survive long periods without water. The question is, which of the following is not mentioned in the passage about kangaroos? A. They use their tails for village. B. They primarily eat grass. C. They can leap up to 12 meters. C. They live in groups called mob. And the correct answer is C. They can leap up to 12 meters. Why? Because the passage mentions they can jump up to 9 meters, not 12 meters. So the best answer is C. They can leap up to 12 meters. Okay, next to the next point, it's scanning question. In this question, you must find where in the passage some particular information or transition is located. The easy to identify the answer are usually line numbers. They are usually easy to answer too. Scanning questions are often the last question in a set of questions about the passage. To answer this question, use the same techniques for scanning given in Part A about factual question. For example, the Great Wall of China stretches over 13,000 miles. It was built to protect against invasion starting in the 7th century BC. Most of the current wall was constructed during the Ming Dynasty. Question is, when did the construction of the Great Wall begin? A. 7th century BC. B. 10th century AD. C. During the Ming Dynasty. D. 5th century AD. So the best answer is A. 7th century BC. Because the passage mentioned that the Great Wall began starting in the 7th century BC. It's easy, right?
Okay, now I would like to tell you about inference question. When answering reading comprehension question, sometimes the answer isn't directly stored in the text. Instead, you need to infer or make a logical guess based on clues from the passage. These are called inference question. What is an inference? An inference is when you take what you know and combine it with details from the passage to come up with a conclusion. It's like being a detective piecing together information to understand what is implied but not directly said. And how to identify inference question? Inference question often use certain phrases that signal you need to read between the lines. Here, the few examples of how they might be phrased. At the first, it can be inferred that the author suggests that which of the following is most likely true according to the passage. What does the passage imply about? And then the step to answer inference question. At the first, look for clues. The second, eliminate obvious wrong choice. And the third, think logically. Example, the text beside me. A star very similar to the Sun is one of the nearest stars to Earth. That star is Alpha Centauri, just 4 and 3 light years away. Other than our own Sun, the nearest star to the Earth is a tiny red star, not visible without a telescope, called Proxima Centauri. It can be inferred from this passage that A. Proxima Centauri is similar to the Earth-Sun. B. Proxima Centauri is the closest star to the Earth. C. Alpha Centauri is invisible from the Earth. D. Proxima Centauri is less than 3 light years from the Earth. Answer is A. Is not a valid inference. Alpha Centauri is similar to the Sun, but Proxima Centauri is a tiny red star. And the choose B also cannot be inferred. The closest star to the Earth is our own Sun, nor can. And C be inferred. Proxima Centauri is invisible, but there is no information as to whether Alpha Centauri is. Since Alpha Centauri is 4.3 light years away, it can be inferred that Alpha Centauri, the closest star, is less than that. Get my point? Next, I would like to tell you about purpose question in reading comprehension. In the reading comprehension section, purpose question asks you to understand why the author includes specific information, such as quotation, a study, or even a particular word or phrase. The goal is to determine the author's intent behind using that detail. A purpose question focuses on the reason why something is mentioned in the passage. It asks you to think about the author's motive. It's not about what was said, but why it was said. How to identify purpose question? This question often contains specific wording that indicates the need to find the author's intention. Some common passages include, the author mentioned X in order to. What is the main purpose of including? Why does the author refer to? The purpose of the example quotation in paragraph X is, and the step to answer purpose question: at the first, understand the context. The second, look for the bigger picture. And the third, consider the author's tone or goal. You can say the text, bats are the only mammals that can fly. Their wings are made of skin stretched over long finger bones, which allows them to fly with precision. This wing design helps them hunt effectively, especially at night. The question: what is the main purpose of the paragraph about bats' wing? A. To explain how bats use egg collection to hunt. B. To describe how bats are different from bird and insect. C. To show why bats are the only mammals capable of flight. D. To detail the unique structure of bats' wing and its benefit. Well, the answer is D. To detail the unique structure of bats' wing and its benefit explanation. The passage focuses on the structure of bat wings and how it helps them in hunting. You get my point, guys?
Okay, next is vocabulary in context questions. In vocabulary in context questions, you must determine which of 4 words or phrases can best substitute for a word or words in the passage. Most of the questions ask about single words, usually nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs. Some ask about 2 or 3 word phrases. Sometimes 2 or more of the answer choices for this item may be correct. Definition of the word that is asked about. In this case, you must decide which is correct in the context of passage. So how to answer the vocabulary in context? You can read the story for the examples, and the question is, which of the following words could best be a substitute for the word lethal in line 10? And the choice is if there are empirical, brutal, impossible, and deadly. So how to answer? You know the praise of the best ineffectual and
at words little indicates that the correct answer must describe a situation much worse than intellectual. Choice A and C don't create a logical sentence when substituted for little, and then choice B, brutal, which means savage or violent, is more logical, but only choice D is synonymous with the word that is asked about. And next is reference questions. Reference questions ask what noun, a pronoun, or some other expression refers to. The correct answer is not always the noun that is close to the pronoun in the passage. Incorrect choices are usually other nouns that appear in the passage. So how to answer it? You can read the example of the story, and then the question is the word they in line 4 refers to, and the choice is coral, river, reefs, small fish, tentacles, and flowers. And so how to answer it? Of the 4 choices, you know that only small fish is a logical answer. Why? Because before the day, before the words of day, there is small fish, so it refers to small fish. And the answer is B, small fish.